Okay, and welcome to the Freedom Hustles podcast. This is episode 15. This is the podcast dedicated to all the best hassle-free hustles to give you more time and money freedom. I'm Andy Lehman, owner of freedomskillsacademy.com, and I am with...
Hello, John Banks over at sideincomeman.com.
So, John, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, not bad.
Having a good week?
Pretty quiet this week, really, on terms of work stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of taking a bit of a backward step off of social and things for a while, just to kind of get my head around a few other things that I've been doing. But other than that, yeah, not too bad. Weather's been rubbish, usual this time of year in the UK. What about you?
Yeah, not too bad. I had to go for a business meeting yesterday in Rotherham. I had to go from my nice tier 1 over to tier 3. So that was, well, actually it's probably tier 2. It's going to be tier 3 by the end of the week, I think, Sheffield, Rotherham.
Full sort of hazmat suits.
I did feel like having to go in the hazmat. But I dropped Vicky off at Meadowall, which is just up the road, big shopping place, thinking it'd be quiet, and considering it was supposed to be like the next level lockdown, it was a bit busy. We didn't stay in there long.
Just normal, isn't it? Yeah.
We got out fairly quickly. But apart from that, yeah, all good. So, so what's the topic of discussion today then, John?
Okay, so today we've got, it's an interesting one. Today we're going to be talking about YouTube, but more specifically about ideas, so like channels that you could set up on YouTube where you don't need to worry about putting your face on camera, because I know a lot of people get a bit wary about doing the whole kind of webcam or recording themselves talking and this, that and the other. I mean, I know I was a bit like that, but,
yeah, myself included.
So I mean it's not an uncommon thing. So understandably, people sometimes look for ideas and where they can perhaps launch a channel where they don't have to be on the camera. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Me and you were having a chat a bit off air about this, and it's sort of, we got talking, didn't we, this morning about it, and we were sort of thinking, well, actually, yeah, we've sort of looked into this idea before.
We have
dabbled in this kind of idea sort of space with our sort of various websites and niche websites that we've had over the years. So I guess, I mean, all it really comes down to is there is going to be some skills involved, but once you get your head around, the basics of editing and, perhaps some sort of minor legalities such as, royalty-free music and non-copyright stuff, then you can actually make some pretty good stuff. I mean, there are some absolute huge channels, aren't there, where there's no identity of the people whatsoever.
There's a whole range. There's loads that you can do on YouTube. It's actually, the good thing about YouTube is it's not just a music place. I mean, it's now adapting. Obviously, they've got their apps now and the music service, but it's also a search engine. It's where people go to for a multitude of things. I mean, you mentioned the music channels. Being into music, I've always, I've used YouTube a lot for music, but I also like a lot of the chill out stuff. And I found quite a few channels which were dedicated to relaxing and chill out music. And so the music was like an hour, 2 hours long. And they were purposely put on there for people who were probably doing Tai Chi yoga. They were probably going to spas. And I just can't help but think that someone who has a yoga class will probably say, right, ladies, gather around. They'll put the same music on each week. And these videos were getting like millions of views. And it was only just the other day I was hearing somebody said that, I can't remember the figures now, but it was like they equated like, did they say like 1 million views could be like $3,000?
$3,000, yeah, about $3,000 for 1 million views. Yeah, that's using ad revenue from YouTube's own ad platform.
Their partner program, which is Google AdSense,
basically,
but a different branch of,
Yeah,
so I mean,
go on.
So I mean, there was a lot of these music videos obviously I got rid of my music equipment. If I still had it now, I would probably knock up a few of these long chill out music, because it's not music that's meant to stimulate too much or anything. It was just very calm and easy done. And so there was a lot of those videos, and they are completely faceless.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, I mean, you're right. So that sort of thing. I mean, because I listen to those when I don't know about you, but when I'm doing work at home,
yeah,
if I'm working on stuff for online, I like to put one of them type of hour, 2 hour long sort of chill out, concentration, calming sort of music sort of mixes. But they're not really music videos, are they? They might just be a series of images, like really good looking images, which anyone can get off, like Pixabay or something like that. And then just some music in the background. And when we say music in the background, we don't just mean go up and, rip someone else's music from another channel. That you can't do that. But there are actually websites out there now where, you can perhaps pay like a subscription fee and you get access to an abundance of royalty-free music, don't you? Or non-copyright music.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect for working too. Like you say, I mean, I've seen some of the videos. It is even probably just for one photo for 3 hours, because it's the music that matters, and it's just perfect to work to. So I mean that. But like going back to what we were saying earlier about the faceless videos, there is one we were looking at not so long back, which I kind of find interesting. I want to experiment with, and that was the quizzes. It completely came across it by accident. I mean, I don't know if it was you who was telling me or if it was the daughter, but we were sat downstairs going through 90s music quizzes. And I was looking at the amount of people who have watched those videos. And they have to be very easy to create. Because you were saying there about video editing. So you've got a piece of software like Screencast-O-Matic, and what was it that you use? I can't remember.
I use Wondershare. It's about $30 a year.
Yep. So you've got yourself a basic editing package. So you go on to Google, you do a search for, say, 20 questions to do with 90s music, you compile it, and then in the video, you'll probably get maybe a clip from a music video to do with the band in question, or just a photograph. And then you just basically write up the question on the screen, give it like a countdown timer. And then once that goes, there's like a sound effect, like a bell or a buzzer. Then the answer pops up with the photograph. And these videos are between sort of 8, 10, 20 minutes long. And that's all they are. And you have people, we did like a whole evening of it, just sat there watching these videos, answering the questions or trying to see who could get there first, and then wait for the answers to come. That would finish. And then you'd move on to another one. And the amount of views that these videos were getting, I think some of these people were coining it in for. Well, I mean, basically, it was. I won't be surprised if you got yourself into the position you had like a bit of a template and idea. You could knock a video out in an hour.
Yeah, I mean, and that's amazing. That's exactly, and that's kind of like where. That's kind of what's always kind of. Do you know, this has held me back, but because I mean, we've done loads of stuff over the years, but I mean, one of the things we've never really explored. I mean, I know I've got my own YouTube channel for the Side Income Man. And obviously all these podcasts, we upload them all to YouTube and stuff like that. But I've never really spent a time on a dedicated channel build. Do you know, if you know what I mean? A dedicated channel to try and, grow. And I think the thing that's held me back is that what you just mentioned then about, because it is quite even say like I do a tutorial on, like how to build a website, or not even that complex, how to build one element of a website, it might only be a 10-minute video, but it could take 3 hours to properly do, edit, document, write up the description, do all your keywords. There's a whole load of stuff that goes with it. And then you got to, like you say, cutting it and editing and everything like that. So I think like these guys, like you say, the quizzes and stuff, which by the way is a massive at the moment because of the situation we're in. Okay, so think about trends and think about things like that. Everyone's at home. Loads of people have been doing Zoom calls with their families. They can't go out to the pubs. So quizzes at the moment are huge, 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 huge. But yeah, and like you say, if you can narrow it down to a system which we've always talked about and we've mentioned loads of times on the pod, then you're really onto a winner. And things like that. I want another sort of a spin-off of what you just said then, the quizzes. Is I was thinking, like these sort of facts. You could get like top 10 facts or top 15 facts about, I don't know, the solar system or, cars or whatever, you know what I mean? Anything.
Popular TV shows.
Popular TV shows, yeah, different ways to draw or anything. And then you can create these little top 10s or top 15s or whatever you want to do. And they can literally just be voiceovers over images or over tiny little clips of, other videos. Again, you need to get into the technical side of it because you need to be able to chop and cut stuff up. And, you can't just download a whole video and upload that as your own and then talk over it because you'd get into trouble over the copyright side of things. But, you can certainly clip stuff up and, there are some rules around this, but
the rules are, and you can use copyright material if it's like a review or if it's educational. And I think you can get basically around like sort of 8 seconds of a clip. If you start going too far, then it's kind of like basically theft.
Yeah.
But it's known as the fair usage. So you could actually do a 10-minute video review of your favorite TV program. So imagine it was Friends, but if you sort of had where you were filming, you were talking over in a microphone, you could talk over several clips on several episodes, all sort of 5 seconds, 8 seconds, maybe even 10 seconds long. But as long as you're not being basically defamatory to the program or trying to pass it off as your own, lots of companies that are quite happy to use that. Apparently, Watch Mojo do it all the time.
Yeah.
And they, I think some company once tried to sue them and they won because they were basically like, well, we're not actually passing it off as our own. We're not criticizing it, we're using it. And they've got to the point now, their channel is so big that companies, music industry companies and TV companies actually approach them to do a video about their products because it's free advertising.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So you can use other people's stuff.
Yeah. So like you say, if you're a bit careful and you're a bit clever with the way you do it, and you're not just literally ripping it as your own, if you're sort of adding stuff to it, then it's perfectly fine. It's fair game. And I've seen, like you say, these channels that just blow up. They're just huge, and it might take, we were talking a bit, like you said, we were talking this morning. These are the type of things where if, like you say, if you can narrow it down to, let's be realistic, say you can do a video in, let's say 3 hours. Okay. Maybe you can do it after a while. You can knock it out quicker than that, but let's say 3 hours. So you can plan all week. You can plan what you're going to talk about. You can kind of come up with the ideas. Let's say you're going to do a quiz. And then let's say you can create the video, do the voiceover, put any sound effects in, any images you want to do, whatever, this, that, and the other, and then upload the whole thing. Okay, and that takes 3 hours. So in the week, you've just sort of thought about it, you've prepped it up, and then one night you just sit there and you just churn it out. Now, if you did this, say, twice a week or, once every, even if you just did it once a week, the chances of that first video that you upload doing anything, making any money, getting any views, it will get a few, but maybe not lots. It's not going to go mad. It's not going to go viral. But if you do 10 of these, if you do 20 of these, if you do 50 of these, if you do 100 of these, sooner or later, you will build up that kind of growth. And then eventually they'll start taking off. 1 or 2 of them could go viral. And that's when the rest of your stuff kind of all takes off as well. You need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of playtime on YouTube before you can even apply for the monetization ad platform. So the initial way I would say to people is don't even think about that. Don't even worry about that part of it. If you're going to get going with this, start off small and just keep churning out stuff. Try and get into a routine if you can. Like we do this podcast, we do it every week, once a week.
Yeah.
Try and get into a routine of uploading a video. If you're going to do once a week, that's fine. If you're going to do 2, 3, try and do a system and a routine and then stick to it.
Yeah, I mean, these videos should really be seen as little digital products.
Yeah.
This is something I suppose I understood and thought about, but I hadn't really thought about it until the other day. As you know, I like writing and I want to produce books and stick on Amazon Kindle to sell,
Mm.
little income streams. But with a book, not only have you got the cover to make and then you've got the writing. So I mean, even if you wrote really fast and got a book done in a week, generally you don't. But I
No.
mean, there's challenges to get a book done in a month. That's 4 weeks. It takes you that long to write a book. With a video, you can have it done in, like we said, if you really knuckle down, have a plan and idea, you can do it in an hour. But if you
Mm.
did it in 3 hours,
Mm.
got that on YouTube, technically you've got a little digital product there ready to generate money.
Mm.
Once you've got yourself cleared, you've got yourself like 1,000 subscribers, and you've got yourself your 4,000 hour views. I mean, your first 10 videos could just basically be anything just to generate
Yeah.
that 4,000 views, 4,000 hours
It's
worth
at
of views.
4,000 hours. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, you could create anything there, but the great thing about sort of YouTube is that things can go viral. And like they say, unlike other social media platforms, Facebook or Twitter, where your things sort of go down the feed and disappear into the ether, YouTube basically can be searched for. So if you've got the right keywords, your video can crop up. If it starts to get some traction and is relative to another video, it might get recommended by YouTube as another view. And then once it starts becoming watched more, then they'll
Yeah.
start showing it to more and more people. And like you said, your first 10 videos, the first 20 videos might not do anything, but then you'll get one, which will probably skyrocket.
Mm.
That one video then will probably make it all those other 10 videos worth its while. But as you keep adding more videos and videos to it, eventually people are going to come to your big ones. Then they may look at your little ones and this, that, and the other. And those little videos all together, along with the big ones, are probably going to add up to like $100 a day or $100. I mean, some people are earning sort of $300-400 a day just
Mm.
from a series of
Oh,
videos
yeah.
they've got.
Mm.
Because there's one video is probably made $5, another video is made $10, another video is maybe made $20.
Mm.
But because they're on there, they are these little sort of income streams, but they are not
Yeah.
like Kindle books where you have to do a lot of writing.
Mm.
You can just get them on there. You know, like you said, you can get a video on there in an hour.
Yeah. I mean, I can vouch for what you said about. I mean, I don't monetize my channel at all, but well, not in the ad way. But I mean, it doesn't even qualify. But anyway, but what I will say is that the bit about, like you say, all of a sudden they can just take off. I understand that because, and again, I'm not talking about millions of views here, but one of my videos, it was all about WordPress hosting and you know how you can do it locally rather than having to buy hosting. Anyway, I won't go into the detail, but basically it sat there for months, literally nothing, 2 or 3 views here and there, maybe a handful of views every day, right? And then the other day it just shot up and it got something like 1,300 views in a day. And I was like, Christ. Or no, in about a week, so over a very shortish period. But it just flew up. And then now that particular video still gets 50 odd views every day. It just keeps on ticking over. And I was thinking, well, there you go. And that sat literally in the sort of sandbox, just doing nothing for like 6 months, you know, just plodding along. And for me, with YouTube, it's not like a website where you could argue you do a blog post and you got to share it. Then you got to, if you want to try and rank it, you got to go out and get backlinks. And, you know, I apologize if we're talking about stuff which is slightly off topic, but if you and I know, if you to get a blog post ranking on Google, it's not just a case of writing it and then forgetting about it. Whereas with these, it kind of is. You just build it, you just create it, do the editing, upload it. That's it. Move on to the next one then, you know? And then as that gets picked up and people find it, and then they might add it to their save list, or they might then share it on with someone else, or I put stuff on my watch list. So I'll see a video, add it to my watch list, knowing that I'm going to go back and watch that later. So all these little triggers, these are little triggers in YouTube's eyes that this video is good. So then they'll start showing up on other people's home screens, which is completely different. Like you and I will have totally different YouTube home screens, just like we'll have subtly different Google searches and stuff like this. So they tailor it to the user, irrespective of whether you're subscribed to that channel or not. It will still get shown up. And then obviously then it starts then. So then it starts getting grown and stuff like that. You can go into the data. So I look at I looked at that video and I thought, this is weird. I went into the analytics on it, and it was something like 98% of the visitors to that channel weren't subscribers. They weren't subscribers. So they're just finding it either in search or it's being shown. And that's what you said. The beauty of it is you can make all these little mini assets and eventually one or two of them can take off.
I mean, it's like you said with Amazon. Amazon is a business who want to make money. So they basically, if they see something selling, they promote it to more people. Yeah. YouTube are exactly the same thing. If they see something that's kind of going viral and your video is going up there, then they want to share it with other people, because their whole idea, their whole ethos about YouTube is to keep people on the platform. Because the more adverts they show, the more money they make, and the more money they make for their partners. So they try and keep people on there. And if you've got a video that is going sort of now starting to be seen by a lot of people, they're going to put it in front of other people because obviously it's interesting. But another thing is if another video is being seen by lots of people and your video is very much relative with the same sort of keywords and is all niche specific, the chances are that too will also get shown as a recommendation. And so
that's right.
It's actually very powerful when you think about it. It's just one of those things that we've often talked about doing this, and I really think we should do. We've played around with it in many ways, but we've never actually really focused on it. But it is possible, because I have this belief, this idea that if you want to find something that has the best returns for the least work possible. And when you consider the creation of a YouTube video compared to other ways like writing ebooks, writing blog posts, blogging, a YouTube video is a far, far easier. I mean, I'll give you a couple of examples. These are true stories. There was a British girl, I can't remember her name, but she was going to she was thinking of giving up. She had a YouTube channel, and it was ASMR, I think it's called, where they whisper into the microphones and all that strange, weird noises. She was generating apparently around 60 grand a year from advertising, and was thinking of giving up. And I don't know why, because that's quite a good wage from YouTube in the first place.
Catching your microphone.
And then one day, one of her videos just went viral, and it went crazy. And so she carried on. And I looked at her videos. She had a lot of videos and she had a lot of views, but she was nothing compared to some of the big people. And these are people, the people are actually tuning in to see people whispering into microphones and playing with bubble wrap. It's really, really bizarre. Then there's the other story of, she used to be known as Disney Princess, was it?
Oh, the kids that play with
the kids stuff, the unboxing.
Unbox. My kids watch Lego unboxing, and there's no people involved, like you say. They're just people playing with Lego, and they got millions of subscribers, millions of views, and everything.
The last time I looked at Disney Princess, wherever her name is, it was her and her boyfriend. He had a DC one or something. He did boys' toys, and she did females' toys. And her views were in the billions. I mean, she was reported to be one of the biggest earners on YouTube, earning probably around $5 million in 1 year from that, from unboxing toys, just seeing her hands playing with them. That basically is what you were saying earlier about faceless videos not having to be in camera.
So that's kind of what we wanted to sort of talk about today. So I think we should probably sort of summarize, really. I mean, I would say that, there are loads of opportunities out there. And, if you're a bit wary about, if you don't want to do the whole kind of, on face stuff, which I totally get, by the way, it's perfectly fine to be like that. If you're a little bit creative, and if you can kind of get on some trends maybe, and, if you can sort of find an audience of which there almost certainly will be one, then you can definitely make it work. I mean, I guess the only stumbling block, which isn't really a stumbling block, is to be that you kind of will need to familiarize yourself with editing software to begin with. Obviously, if your channel grows, you can definitely outsource all of that. You could hire people to do all that for you. So that's about it, really. I mean, give it a go. What any sort of closing thoughts from you?
Basically, just echoing what we've said in the in this podcast, and that is, you should consider a video as like a little digital product. You create more videos you create, the more multiple income streams you have. They don't have to generate huge amounts of money individually. You'll get the one or two that'll go crazy, but if you've got like 100 videos on there, so imagine you've got 100 videos earning you just $1 a day. That's $100 a day, which isn't bad for something that you've done once and is there live being watched by other people.
That's right.
So it's a digital product, and they, like, unlike other networks, unlike other social media platforms, these can be seen 24 hours a day. They can be found. The network actually promotes them, and and again, it's not. We hear about these YouTubers, these celebrity YouTubers who are in front of the camera doing sort of makeup reviews and that. They're not always the biggest one. There's a lot of people out there making a lot of money on YouTube doing so many random things.
You don't even know who they are. You don't know who's behind the camera, do you? No.
Not at all.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, that's been... I've enjoyed that. It's been quite an interesting talk tonight. Certainly got my... got me thinking again, actually. But anyway. So, hope you've enjoyed that. If you've got any questions or if you've got any comments or anything, then, drop a comment in below. Or follow us on Instagram, or head over to the websites. But anyway, so I just want to say thanks very much for listening. I've been John Banks over at sideincommand.com.
I'm Andy Lehman from freedomskillsacademy.com. And if I can just quickly say one final thing before we disappear, and that is about editing. Screencast-O-Matic, $15, $30 a year, whatever it is, whatever you're using, it really isn't that hard. Using the editing software, it is ridiculously easy these days, so it's definitely worth trying. So sorry. Okay, so thanks very much for listening, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you. See you later. Bye bye.